For years, Arizona sold a promise that felt almost too good to question. A promise of sunlight without limits. A promise of space when other states felt crowded. A promise that you could still own a home, still build a future, still breathe. People came chasing that promise from every direction. Families escaping expensive coastal cities. Retirees searching for calm and affordability. Investors convinced the desert was the next unstoppable frontier. Suburbs stretched outward. Cranes filled the skyline. Entire communities rose from sand almost overnight. But now, as we move deeper into 2026, something has shifted. Quietly at first, then all at once. Homes are sitting longer. Prices are slipping. Builders are slowing down. Insurance bills are exploding. Water concerns are no longer theoretical. And the buyers who once flooded into Arizona are hesitating or disappearing entirely. This is not a single crash. It is not one city failing. It is a chain reaction. What we're witnessing is the slow fracture of a housing boom that grew too fast, stretched too far, and ignored the limits beneath it. And nowhere is that fracture more visible than in the cities across Arizona now entering their most vulnerable phase. This isn't fear bait. This is math, pressure, and reality colliding. In this countdown, we're breaking down the Arizona cities where housing prices are facing the steepest drops, the heaviest strain, and the highest risk heading into 2026. Some of these places were once considered untouchable. Others were hailed as the future. Stay with this list until the end, because the city at the top is not just struggling, it may redefine how people think about suburban growth in America. Let's begin. Number 10. Prescott. Prescott built its reputation on serenity, cooler air, pine-covered hills, historic streets, a slower rhythm than the chaos of Phoenix. For years, it marketed itself as Arizona's perfect retirement escape, a place where life felt manageable again, and retirees responded in waves. Between 2020 and 2023, home values surged at a pace that stunned even local agents. Prices climbed nearly 70% in just a few years, pushing the median home value beyond $650,000 in many neighborhoods. But that climb didn't hold. By late 2025, prices had already slipped closer to $530,000, and the downward pressure hasn't eased. Forecasts now suggest another 10 to 15% decline before 2026 runs its course. The core issue isn't demand alone, it's sustainability. Prescott's buyers are largely retirees living on fixed incomes, and fixed incomes do not stretch when insurance premiums double, HOA fees rise, and maintenance costs balloon. Homes that once felt secure now feel risky. Insurance has become the breaking point. Wildfire exposure, weather volatility, and replacement cost increases have driven annual premiums far beyond what many residents budgeted for. Add rising property taxes and monthly expenses spiral quickly. At the same time, overbuilding has left scars. Developments in Prescott Valley and nearby areas promised retirement-ready living, but many now sit half-occupied. Open houses that once attracted crowds now feel hollow. Cash buyers have pulled back. Those who remain demand steep discounts, sometimes 20 to 25% below peak pricing. What's happening in Prescott isn't just economic. It's demographic. The very population that fueled its growth is being pushed out by the costs of staying. Younger buyers can't afford to replace them. The postcard version of Prescott still exists, but the financial reality underneath it is cracking. Number 9. Gilbert. Gilbert was once the gold standard of Arizona suburbia. Clean streets, strong schools, new homes, a reputation for stability that made it feel immune to downturns. Families trusted it, investors loved it, developers flooded in. Then, the surge hit. From 2020 through 2022, home prices in Gilbert jumped close to 70% as out-of-state buyers arrived in droves. Many from California, chasing space and perceived value. That value vanished faster than anyone expected. Median home prices have fallen from around $640,000 to just under $520,000. That's nearly a 20% drop in a short window. And the market hasn't found a floor yet. Homes that once sparked bidding wars now linger unsold. Sellers are cutting prices by tens of thousands just to generate foot traffic. The deeper problem is affordability erosion. Gilbert's economy leans heavily on sectors now under pressure: construction, healthcare, and education. At the same time, inflation has eaten into paychecks, while insurance and property taxes have surged. A home that once carried a manageable monthly cost now demands closer to $4,000 per month when higher mortgage rates and insurance are factored in. Even households earning well above average are feeling stretched. Developers are responding defensively. Building permits have dropped sharply. Some subdivisions are stalled mid-development. Investors are also retreating. Short-term rental occupancy has slipped below 55%, destroying margins almost overnight. Gilbert isn't collapsing dramatically, it's bleeding slowly, and slow corrections often cut deeper than sudden crashes. Number 8. Flagstaff. Flagstaff was supposed to be different. High elevation, university jobs, tourism, wealthy second home buyers. It was widely seen as insulated from the boom and bust cycles affecting the rest of the state. That insulation is gone. After median home prices surged past $800,000 in 2022, the market reversed. Values are already down roughly 17%, and many local professionals believe the slide will continue well into 2026. Affordability is the anchor dragging Flagstaff down. Income growth never matched price growth. Mortgage rates hovering near 7% have turned even moderately priced homes into luxury purchases. A $600,000 home now carries monthly costs exceeding $5,000 once taxes and insurance are included. Remote work once fueled Flagstaff's boom. That fuel has dried up. As companies pull workers back into offices in Phoenix, Los Angeles, and Silicon Valley, demand has reversed. Vacation rentals tell the story clearly. Listings have exploded. Occupancy has fallen. Owners who once relied on short-term income are now under pressure from tighter regulations, rising utilities, and weaker tourism. Developers are stepping back. Luxury lodge and condo projects are being paused quietly as lenders grow cautious. Flagstaff's downturn carries a symbolic weight. If a mountain town long viewed as untouchable can slip this fast, no Arizona market is truly protected. Number 7. Tucson. Tucson always positioned itself as the balanced alternative, more affordable than Phoenix. Rich in culture. A relaxed pace, paired with desert beauty and university energy. It sold moderation. Then prices exploded anyway. Between 2020 and 2022, home values jumped roughly 55%. That surge didn't stick. Since 2024, median prices have dropped close to 15%, while active listings have doubled. The market is losing balance fast. Insurance is Tucson's silent killer. Flash flooding, intense monsoon seasons, and wildfire risk have pushed premiums sharply higher across Pima County. In many areas, annual insurance costs now exceed $6,000. That changes everything. A home priced around $400,000 now costs nearly $3,800 per month to carry once insurance, taxes, and HOA fees are included. In a city where median household income sits near $63,000, that math simply doesn't work. Foreclosures are rising. Short-term rental investors are exiting after occupancy slipped below 50%. Half-built subdivisions are stalling as financing dries up. Tucson's struggle highlights Arizona's core contradiction: soaring living costs paired with stagnant incomes. And that contradiction is becoming impossible to ignore. Number 6. Mesa. Mesa grew on momentum. As Phoenix expanded eastward, Mesa became the engine of suburban growth. Safe neighborhoods, new developments, constant expansion. That expansion is now its biggest weakness. Since peaking in 2022, home prices in Mesa have fallen close to 20%. Builders flooded the city with new supply, assuming demand would never slow. It did. Neighborhoods across Eastmark, Gateway, and Power Ranch are dotted with price cuts and unfinished projects. Buyers are hesitant. Sellers are stuck chasing a bottom that keeps slipping. Insurance tells the deeper story. Premiums that once hovered below $2,000 annually now push past $5,000 for many homeowners. Add rising mortgage rates, HOA fees, and taxes, and ownership costs have effectively doubled in 4 years. Investor demand has evaporated. Rentals are no longer printing easy returns. Confidence, once Mesa's backbone, is cracking. Analysts now forecast another 10 to 15% decline through 2026. If a city as central and established as Mesa can stumble this hard, the ripple effects won't stay contained. Number 5. Sedona. Sedona was never supposed to be vulnerable. For decades, it existed in a category of its own. A place where red rock cliffs, spiritual retreats, art galleries, and luxury homes blended into an image of permanence. Buyers didn't just purchase property in Sedona. They bought into a feeling, a belief that beauty itself would protect value. That belief is now being tested. After climbing relentlessly through the early 2020s, home prices in Sedona peaked near $950,000. Since then, values have fallen close to 20%, and the decline has been anything but orderly. High-end homes that once sold almost immediately now sit on the market for months. Even after price reductions that reach well into 6 figures, the cracks began with tourism. Sedona's economy depends heavily on visitors. When travel softened and discretionary spending tightened, short-term rentals felt the impact first. Occupancy rates dropped below 50%. Homes purchased with the expectation of constant bookings suddenly became financial liabilities. Then came regulation. Stricter rules on vacation rentals reduced flexibility just as expenses surged. Insurance premiums climbed sharply due to wildfire risk and rising replacement costs. Utility bills increased. Maintenance costs followed. Investors who once viewed Sedona as a safe luxury play began exiting. Entire streets now sit unusually quiet. Stunning homes, beautifully designed, yet dark at night. Assets without income. Local residents are feeling the pressure as well. Property taxes have continued to rise despite falling home values. For longtime homeowners, especially retirees, the combination of insurance, taxes, and upkeep has become unsustainable. Sedona's market is caught in contradiction. Incredible natural beauty paired with growing economic fragility. Sellers remain emotionally attached to yesterday's prices. Buyers have stepped back, unwilling to absorb tomorrow's risks. Sedona isn't collapsing loudly. It's softening slowly, and in luxury markets, slow declines can be devastating. Number 4. Scottsdale. Scottsdale wasn't just a city, it was a statement. For years, it symbolized success. Championship golf courses, resort living, exotic cars rolling past palm-lined streets. Owning property here meant you had arrived. But prestige doesn't stop math. By 2026, Scottsdale's housing market is under strain few imagined possible. Home values have fallen roughly 18% in a single year. Yet prices alone don't tell the real story. Ownership costs are exploding. Luxury insurance policies that once felt manageable now exceed $15,000 annually for many properties. Homeowners associations are imposing special assessments, sometimes reaching tens of thousands, to cover infrastructure repairs and storm-related damage. Property taxes have climbed nearly 30% since 2020. Even cash buyers are retreating. High-end listings now sit for 200 days or more. Sellers are slashing prices repeatedly, sometimes by hundreds of thousands, just to attract interest. In enclaves once considered untouchable, 7-figure homes are quietly relisted far below previous valuations. The investor exodus has been swift. Corporate buyers and out-of-state speculators have largely vanished, leaving behind over-leveraged owners and stalled listings. Scottsdale's downturn is as emotional as it is financial. The city was built on confidence, on the assumption that wealth could always stay ahead of risk. That assumption is cracking. In 2026, Scottsdale faces a humbling reality. Even at the top of the market, luxury is no shield against correction. Number 3. Chandler. Chandler was Arizona's symbol of modern prosperity. A city powered by semiconductors, advanced manufacturing, and high-paying tech jobs, master-planned neighborhoods promised the future. For years, everything pointed upward. Then momentum stalled. Major tech employers slowed hiring. Some scaled back local operations. Others shifted roles overseas. Construction slowed, and the housing market followed. Median home prices in Chandler are already down about 16%. High-end neighborhoods that once moved quickly now see homes sit idle for months. Builders are offering aggressive incentives, cutting prices by $100,000 or more to generate interest. But buyers remain cautious. Mortgage rates near 7%, combined with rising insurance costs, have pushed monthly payments far beyond what many expected when they bought. Energy bills are higher. Taxes are rising. Even households with strong incomes are tightening budgets. Chandler's expansion may have gone too far, too fast. Excess supply is colliding with shrinking demand. Investors are renting at losses or walking away. Developers are quietly shelving projects. Chandler's slowdown is a warning not just for Arizona, but for tech hubs everywhere. When growth depends on momentum, any pause can trigger a chain reaction. The Silicon Desert is learning that innovation alone cannot hold up inflated housing prices. Number 2. Phoenix. Phoenix built the boom. Between 2019 and 2022, it felt unstoppable. Prices doubled. Bidding wars became routine. Homes sold within hours. The city absorbed more new residents than any metro area in the country. That pace was never sustainable. By 2026, Phoenix is facing the consequences. Median home prices are already down around 15%. Inventory has doubled. Builders are sitting on thousands of unsold homes across suburbs like Goodyear, Surprise, and Peoria. The migration engine has stalled. High interest rates, rising insurance costs, and climbing property taxes have frozen demand. A city built on constant inflow is now slowing sharply. Ownership costs tell the story clearly. A home that cost roughly $1,700 per month to carry in 2020 now approaches $3,000, even before maintenance and HOA fees. Insurance premiums have tripled in some areas. The rental market is weakening as well. Vacancy rates are climbing to levels not seen in over a decade. Investors are unloading properties at losses. House flippers are disappearing. Foreclosure filings are rising, and analysts warn that today's slow decline could accelerate if economic conditions tighten further. Phoenix's downturn isn't sudden, it's grinding. Month by month, prices slide. Confidence fades. The wealth created during the boom slowly evaporates. By the end of 2026, Phoenix may stand as the clearest symbol of how fast momentum can reverse. Number 1. Buckeye. Buckeye sits at the center of Arizona's reckoning. Not long ago, it was celebrated as the future. A bold vision of master-planned communities stretching into the desert. Affordable homes, new schools, endless growth. From 2019 to 2022, prices more than doubled. No city in Arizona rose faster. That speed became its undoing. By 2026, Buckeye has suffered the steepest decline in the state. Home values are already down roughly 25%. Inventory has exploded to nearly 4 times normal levels. Construction zones that once buzzed with activity now sit silent. Builders are desperate. Price cuts exceeding $50,000. Covered closing costs. Free upgrades. Still, buyers hesitate. The problem is structural. Too much supply built on optimism rather than reality. Developers assumed population growth would never slow. It did. And when it did, Buckeye had no cushion. Water concerns have added fuel to the fire. Infrastructure delays have left promised amenities unfinished. Parks, schools, and retail centers remain stalled. Buyers feel misled. In partially built neighborhoods, values have dropped as much as 30%. Homeowners are trapped. Investors are abandoning deposits rather than risk deeper losses. Entire communities sit half-complete. Model homes surrounded by empty lots. Streets without neighbors. A vision that never fully materialized. Buckeye isn't experiencing a temporary dip. It's undergoing a structural reset. And its collapse offers a national lesson. When speculation outruns sustainability, the fall can be swift and unforgiving. From Prescott's fading retirement appeal to Buckeye's overbuilt suburbs, Arizona's housing surge has reached its breaking point. This is not a mild adjustment. It is a full reset. Rising insurance costs, water limitations, high interest rates, buyer fatigue. Together, they've transformed the desert dream into a desert reckoning. For some, this downturn will be painful. For others, it may offer opportunity. But one truth is now impossible to ignore. The era of effortless growth is over. What comes next will demand smarter planning, realistic pricing, and a deeper respect for limits that were once ignored. Arizona's story isn't finished, but it is being rewritten.